All the people out here in the room are individuals. Every one of you is an individual person. You have your own name, your own identity, but you have something more than that. Your cells know you and have your brand on them, and nobody else has that brand. If I take your cells and put it into the person sitting next to you, what's going to happen to those cells? They'll be rejected by the immune system of the recipient. For what reason? They're called not self. So all of a sudden they say, where's the self? What is the self? What makes you, you, and the person next to you not you? Protein, so I'm going to get to it. I use 2 cells, Bruce's and Margaret's. I use 2 liver cells because 99% of the cell is liver in function. 99% of the cell is exactly the same as Margaret and Bruce. They're both the same. Liver cells do the same thing. Liver enzymes in me would be the same as the liver enzymes in Margaret. Same thing. I know the nuclei are different because we have different genes, but I also told you this. I could throw the nuclei out of the cell, and the cell's still going to have a life. So I'm not going to count them in this story right now. What I'm going to do is remove the color from the picture, leaving behind the color where the 2 cells differ from each other, where the identity is found. Where is it that makes us unique? And I remove the color. Can you see where the colors are left? They're in the membrane. And biologists even call some of these self-receptors. What are receptors? Receivers. What are self-receptors? Receivers of self. And why is this relevant? If I take my self-receptors off my cell, I take an enzyme and cut off these yellow receptors, you know what happens? My cell is generic. I can implant it in any human, it will never be rejected. I can implant it into a mouse, it won't be rejected. There's no identity to it. So I take my generic, no identity cell, my cell, and I take Margaret's receptors off of her cell and put it onto my cell. So I have my cell with Margaret's receptors. If I put that cell back in my body, what's going to happen? It'll be rejected, not self. If I take my cell with her receptors and put it into her body, what's going to happen? It's accepted. I transfer ownership by just transferring the antennas. Now you might think, well, these antennas are the self. The fact is, antennas are antennas. They are receivers of a signal, so that your antennas complement a signal out here in the environment. Why would I say that? Because the receptors are reading the external environment. They're not reading the internal environment. So why is that relevant? Because your identity, these receptors on the surface, are reading an environmental signal that's unique to you. And if I take that signal and transfer it to somebody else's cell, then that cell becomes your cell because that signal is going to control the cell. The signals that come in from the outside give it the identity. And the relevance about that is that, let's just say, I'll start with this first, give you another story about it. As of late, because of the large number of transplant operations, heart-lung combinations, when people receive heart-lungs from other people, they don't just receive the organ, they begin to acquire the character of the person who donated the organ. Here's a fact that's so amazing. A young girl got murdered. Her heart was transferred to another person. That other person was able to identify the murderer for the police. It lived and knows. What was the point? You'd say, oh, the cells are carrying the memory. I'm going to tell you something. I'm a cellular biologist. The brain is cells, that membrane. It does not have the awareness capacity to distinguish chicken McNuggets and beer from anything else in the world. It doesn't do that. The memory is not in the cell. The memory is in the field. We are a broadcast. This is a television set. We have antennas. When the picture tube breaks on your television, what do you say about the TV? The TV is dead. Yeah, TV dead. But did the broadcast stop? No. Well, how can you tell that? You get another TV set, you plug it in, you turn it on, you do one other thing. What do? Tune it to the station. And when you hit that frequency, boom, it's back on again.